You've always been the strong one, Kirsten. I knew you wouldn't mind if there wasn't enough. That's what she said. Right before handing the last scoop of mashed potatoes to my brother's girlfriend. The same bowl I'd brought from home. I didn't argue. Didn't ask why. Didn't make a scene. I just picked up my dish, the only thing I'd contributed to that perfect table, and walked out. No yelling. No slamming doors. Just the quiet sound of chairs shifting, and guilt pretending to breathe. In the car, my boys whispered, "Mom, are we in trouble?" I said, "Not anymore. I'm Kirsten Hale, 34, mother of 2. The woman they called rude for leaving hungry. They forgot my plate. I remembered everything. People think the plate was the problem. It wasn't. It was everything that came before it. Every Christmas, every birthday, every Sunday dinner, where I brought food, but never had a seat that truly felt like mine. I was the helper, the filler, the one who made things easier. When Dad had his heart attack, I drove him to appointments, paid for his prescriptions, and told Mom not to worry. When Jeff got divorced, I watched his kids every weekend, so he could get back on his feet. When the bills piled up, Mom called it a small favor. 2 years later, the favor turned into my credit card, and their groceries, their gas, their Wi-Fi. Every time I tried to talk about it, Mom said the same line. "You're strong, Kirsten. You can handle it." I believed her. Because if I didn't, the truth would have crushed me. Strong became the word she used, instead of thank you. And when I finally needed someone, a ride, a babysitter, just a little kindness, everyone suddenly had plans. That Christmas wasn't the first time I'd gone hungry. It was just the first time. They made sure everyone saw it. I stared at that empty table, the candles burning down like countdown clocks, and realized I'd built a life where my love was currency, and my silence was the interest they collected. That night when the snow hit the windshield, I didn't cry. I just drove. Some hungers can't be fed, only ended. They taught me to serve. They just never taught me to stay. The morning after Christmas, I made cocoa for my boys and watched them build Lego cities on the rug. Their laughter filled the quiet my parents used to occupy. That's when it hit me. Peace sounds like absence. I sat at the table, looked at the half-empty casserole dish I'd carried home the night before, and realized I'd been feeding everyone but myself. For 2 years, I'd covered their bills, their groceries, their prescriptions, even the Wi-Fi they used to gossip about me. And still I was the one they called ungrateful. So I opened my laptop, logged into the bank, and canceled the card they'd been using. No anger, no speech, just a clean line through a chapter. Then I texted them, "Please don't use the card anymore. I've closed it. I'll be handling my finances privately from now on." Short, polite, final. It took 43 minutes for the first call to come in. Mom's voicemail was 3 minutes long, a performance in disappointment. She said she was hurt, that I'd embarrassed her, that she didn't understand why I was being so dramatic. Not once did she say she was sorry. Then Dad texted, "What's going on with the card? We can't get groceries." I stared at the message for a long time. It wasn't a question. It was an expectation. I deleted it. Silence became my new language. Mom called again, then from the landline. I turned the phone face down on the counter and let it sing to itself. No more midnight rescues, no more explanations. I pulled a sticky note from the drawer and wrote 3 rules. First, no money without respect. Second, no visits without notice. And third, no guilt without proof. I stuck it to the fridge like a new family creed. When the ringing finally stopped, the house felt almost holy. Quiet has edges. Mine could cut. That night I made grilled cheese for the boys. Cut them into stars just to make them laugh. We ate on the living room floor, surrounded by the sound of cartoons and safety. No tension. No guilt. Just warmth that didn't ask for repayment. After they fell asleep, I stood in the doorway, watching the rise and fall of their blankets. It hit me. This was what protection looked like. Not words, not forgiveness, just boundaries with teeth. Outside, snow was still falling, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel small in my own story. Mom could call it rude. Dad could call it ungrateful. But I knew what it really was. It was peace wearing a new name. Mine. They took my kindness for weakness. Now they're learning the difference. 3 days of silence passed like a test I refused to fail. On Thursday, school pickup felt normal until my oldest handed me a note. "A lady gave me this," he said. "She knows Grandma." The paper was creased, then smoothed like a bad idea reconsidered. Inside, a printed screenshot of my bank statement. Charges circled in red. groceries, pharmacy, a hotel in Cape May. At the bottom, in pen. So you've always been keeping score. I drove home in a straight line that felt like a blade. Years ago, I'd shown Jeff my banking app during his divorce. Temporary access. Temporary like winter in the Midwest. I never changed the password. That part was on me. I locked the door and changed everything with numbers in it. Bank. Email. Cloud. The streaming account they used for Christmas movies. The bank flagged a login from Nevada. Jeff and Lana moved there 3 months ago. Of course they did. That night, a driver left a box on my porch. No name, no receipt. Inside, half a roll of duct tape. And my son's stuffed bear from last summer. No note, just message. I called the police. Showed the bank printout, the box, the address. Install more cameras, document everything, they said. A checklist where comfort should have been. The next night, we came home from a movie. My garage door shouted in dripping red. Ungrateful. I got the boys inside and pulled the footage. Grainy, hooded figure. A car parked down the block, plate clear as daylight. Lana's. I didn't even need to zoom. I didn't cry. I made hot chocolate and put everyone to bed. Then I sat at the kitchen table and got to work. Morning, I called a locksmith. New locks, every door. A friend installed extra cameras, outside and inside. Protection isn't paranoia when you've seen the handwriting. I took the bear to the backyard and burned it. No ceremony, no speech. Just flame-eating fabric until the smell turned to resolve. Then I opened a folder named Ledger and started counting. Every grocery run, every pharmacy pickup, every small favor that turned into a bill with my name. The spray paint photo, the delivery box, the printed bank statement. I exported it to a PDF and wrote a subject line. Since they want to keep score, let's do it right. I sent it to every relative who ever whispered. To mutual friends who believed the holiday version of us. To the church my mother volunteers at on Wednesdays. It took an hour for my phone to light like sirens. Aunt crying. Cousin stunned. Screenshots of Mom's vague post about betrayal. But the comments didn't comfort her this time. People were turning toward the truth. I didn't answer anyone. I just shut my laptop and exhaled. They wanted to keep score. I handed them the scoreboard. By morning, the group chat went quiet. Quieter than any apology. Quieter than truth. I opened my accounts and cleaned house. Every autopay updated. Every shared login revoked. Except one on purpose, their internet provider. 2 days later, the voicemails arrived. Call us back, we can't access the account. I didn't. I forwarded the message to my lawyer. And kept making breakfast for my boys. Then I called their landlord. Calm voice. Straight facts. They've been listing me as guarantor without consent. He sighed like he'd heard this story before. Understood. We'll contact them directly. Jeff called next. Then Lana. Then a number labeled Mom Home. I let each ring sink into the counter. Finally, Mom tried careful. Her voice smaller than I remembered. We don't know what to do, Kirsten. We're embarrassed. We're confused. We need help with the bills. Guilt twitched like an old injury. I remembered the garage door in red. Ungrateful, dripping down like a sermon. I remembered the bear in the box. The note handed to my child. I texted once, exactly once. You said I was strong. So be strong. Figure it out. Then I blocked every number. The next morning, I changed mine. Silence arrived like weather you can finally breathe in. I kept going. Cancelled spare keys they'd forgotten to return. Replaced the mailbox lock. Set the cameras to send clips to Cloud and Council. The boys adjusted faster than I did. Homework at the table. Hot chocolate on Fridays. Movies without checking my phone. No surprise knocks. No whispered adult conversations in the hallway. A week later, Aunt Susan called from a different number. She led with concern and landed on accusation. Family doesn't turn its back like this. Family doesn't eat while their daughter goes hungry, I said. We both went quiet. She apologized for not knowing. I told her knowing was a choice. Mom posted something vague online. Betrayal. Disrespect. The chorus was smaller this time. Screenshots found me anyway. I didn't answer them either. I spent Saturday fixing what I could touch. Caulked a drafty window. Oiled the front door hinges. Labeled the pantry shelves. Small order in a house that finally felt mine. That evening, another voicemail slipped through a crack. Please, Kirsten, just tell us what to do. I washed dishes to the sound of it. The plates dried. The message ended. The world did not. People think cutting contact is loud. It isn't. It's paperwork and passwords. It's blocking numbers you once put on medical forms. It's choosing peace over being the strong one on command. I didn't gloat. Didn't taunt. Didn't look back. I just lived and let the consequences find their owners. The door wasn't closed. It was gone. Weeks turned into quiet. Quiet turned into space. Space made room for breath. The boys adjusted first. Homework at the table. Cocoa on Fridays. Laughing without flinching at the doorbell. I still checked the cameras. Trauma doesn't retire on command. It just gets quieter. Then the envelope appeared at work. No return address. Inside, a photo. My parents in a church basement. Standing behind a folding table. A hand-painted sign. Community donations welcome. They looked smaller. Not broken, just human. My mother's hair gone gray. My father's hand in a cast. A week later, another envelope. A check in Dad's handwriting. No note. No conditions. I didn't cash it. I didn't tear it up. I filed it with the photo. Proof that change is theirs to manage, not mine to supervise. At home, peace felt sturdy. I labeled pantry shelves. Replanted the porch basil. Showed my sons how to change batteries, so no alarm goes dark again. Some nights, the old ache visits. I let it sit, then show it to the door. Apologies without repair are PR. Checks without accountability are hush money. Distance is not revenge. It's protection that finally worked. If they're different now, I hope it's for them, not for show, not for access. I don't need a scene. I don't need a speech. Just boundaries that hold, and a house that stays warm. I set 2 plates at dinner, sometimes 3 for company. Never again for obligation. To anyone choosing peace over performance, you're not heartless. You're healing on purpose. Have you ever had to choose peace over family? Comment 1 if you already did, and you're finally free. Comment 2 if you're still trying, and it's harder than people think.